welcome to my blog. Welcome to my live stream where I'm about to spend some time cozy evening working on my current craft project. I got some candles, which is of the scent of the green tea, and I just brewed myself some tea, which I got as a gift for my birthday. I haven't tried this one before yet, so this is going to be the first time, and it came in this really beautiful box. And the one I chose was called Happy Holiday. It's supposed to have some citrus and some sweetness to it, so I just brewed it really quick, and we can jump right into my current project, which is a new crochet project. I have recently finished the one I've been working on for the last couple of months. I started it end of August and I finished it in the end of October. So it took me about 2 months to complete it. And this is the sneak peek of how it looks like. I crocheted a scarf, which would be a gift for my mom. And I'm absolutely in love with the result. This was also the first time I blocked anything that I crocheted, which was also a nice experience, and honestly it was crazy how much deformed this scarf turned to be once I just soaked it in the water. I was terrified, but blocking really did some magic, and now it looks much better and much more straight. But honestly, can we just take a moment of appreciation of how beautiful the colors are? Like, look at these rich blues here and these golden ones, and then there's this really nice warmer colors on this side, and the gradient then that just got naturally out of the yarn. It's absolutely stunning. I love multicolor yarn. I personally think this is one of the best types of yarn because it just gives you and your project something that you cannot really get if you are like managing just one color or you are combining colors. And I'm just all in love with it. I'm all here for it. And this is why the new project that I'm working on also has this really nice multicolored variegated yarn. I bought this one in Japan when I was there in September, and when I saw it, I honestly contemplated if I should buy it or not, because I already have quite some yarn, and it happens more that I buy new yarn because I have something very specific in my mind for a new project, rather than I take the yarn that I already have and then I'm just trying to fit the project to the yarn I have. So I was a bit cautious because I didn't want to buy yet another ball of yarn and then just let it sit in the drawer. But then I thought, oh, this yarn looks so good and it could be so nice, and I decided to buy 2 balls of the same type of yarn but in different colors. So this is one I bought, one of them, and this is the other one. It is lighter and it has slightly different hues, and honestly I really love both of them. And then when I saw this pattern recently, I realized that I really want to use this yarn for it. And the pattern I'm going to make with it is for a head warmer, so like an ear warmer strip. And it's such a cute thing to do in my opinion. However, the problem is that the pattern I found, and I absolutely in love with the pattern, so I really want to make it. It uses yarn of a different weight, And if you don't know what that means, it means that the yarn that that is used in the pattern is thicker. It has more weight than this one, which means that of course if I follow the pattern like stitch to stitch, count to count, the final result will look very different for me. It will be smaller, and for that I have to adjust the pattern. I have to adjust the count, like how many stitches I want to do in one row, how many rows I want to do, and for that I have to actually make what is called a gauge swatch, which is when you make just a rectangular that is uses mostly the single crochets, and then you can count how many stitches and how many rows you get in a 10 by 10 square, and compare to the one that is used in the pattern. So I have the pattern and I know that it uses yarn that has a gauge swatch of 12 by 12, so 12 stitches and 12 rows. And now I'm working on this swatch. I've been working on it for a couple of days because I've been having not that much time recently, and once I'm finished with it I will be able to calculate how much different my yarn would look like. And so far I have been using, I have already here quite a long, this is my row, so I have 17 centimeters, which is good. And when you make a swatch, what I read is recommended is to make it bigger so that you can really focus on a uniform part that is in the center, and ignore the edges that could be a bit skewed. That's why I need to make it a bit more than I need. And you can see that I already have 10 centimeters, I have more like 11, but I would definitely need another couple of rows before I can make the final decision. So this is what we're gonna be doing today. And I'm using a so this is a very simple thing. It's just the most basic stitch you can do, which is a single crochet. So it's easy, but it obviously takes time, like everything where if you want to do something crafty. So, but this is a very important part of the project, especially when you have to do some adjustments, and for these adjustments you need to compare like maybe one yarn with another. I think in this case the gauge swatch is really important, but of course there are also cases where you don't really need it. Like for instance, when I was working on my crochet scarf, I didn't do a gauge swatch because, well, first of all it's a scarf, so it's a bit less critical, and I wasn't planning to like count exactly how many rows I need. I was crocheting basically until I ran out of the yarn, which I used 2 full balls of yarn for that scarf. But of course in this situation I need to do a swatch to be sure that whatever I'm making will fit me in the end. Another concern of mine for this project is, what if I run out of yarn? I only have 1 ball of yarn, and I already know that it will take probably quite some of it. So I have to be very careful. I need to plan a bit in advance. So far I have a couple of ideas, but I'm not sure what's gonna work out. This is the first time I'm taking the pattern, and instead of following it precisely up to the point, I will be making some modifications to adjust for what I need and what I want from the pattern. So it's both exciting and a bit scary. I'm a bit nervous about it, definitely. So far, my plan is the following. So first of all, I will of course have to increase the number of stitches I need in a single row, which is probably the easiest part. This is part of the adaptation process. But then I have to consider the how to change the rows, because obviously if my yarn will be smaller, smaller, my rows will be smaller, thinner as well. And one of the important things for this project is that the head warmer is functional, meaning that I can actually wear it in winter, and it could protect my head, it could protect my ears and my forehead and keep me warm and nice and safe. So I definitely want it to be a certain length, or certain width, better say. And for that, it just might be the case that I have to repeat some of the rows of the pattern several times, which means that I will definitely need more yarn than the project, the original pattern claims. And since I have just this one ball, I'm really concerned that I might not have enough. And so far my current idea is to basically do it out of two parts. So meaning that I would make a smaller size, a smaller length of the head warmer in the pattern that I want and in the color that I want. So using this yarn, and this will be the part that will be on the forehead for me, and covering the ears hopefully as well. And then once that is done, I could use some other yarn that I have in my drawer to finish off and to make like another part that would go behind and will be covered most likely by my hair anyway. And in this way, hopefully I will be able to have enough yarn to have the full project, the full head warmer. Another option is to make it thinner. So instead of making it perfectly match the original pattern and the original um, width, I would just make it, yeah, more narrow, which could work nicely, but also might result in the width that maybe I'm not happy with. But I guess this will be the project where we're gonna figure a lot of stuff on our way as we go, and I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to be taking you along with me on this process. And how are you doing? I'm happy to see you here today, this Wednesday, this very cozy Wednesday. With I have some tea, I have some candle on, and I'm happy to see you in my stream. So I hope you have also a very cozy evening, and I'd be happy to hear from you. And how are you doing? I'm happy that your evening is cozy. I hope it's gonna get even cozier from now on. This is how far we have, how much we have. Can definitely see how my stitches got a bit more tighter as I proceeded with the recent rows. And let's see how much we have. We have 12 centimeters. I think I will go for another maybe row or two before I make the final swatch. By the way, this tea is really nice. This is this Happy Holiday tea, and I really like it. It's very nice citrusy, but the flavor is very soft. So this might be one of my new favorites. I tried also another one from this nice box that I got as a gift, and the other one was not that nice, or at least I was not a big fan of it. But this one is definitely very pleasant, especially for an evening like this. How do you like to make your evenings cozy, especially the evenings after work on the weekdays? For me, it's very important to have some time on such days to just not rush anywhere and just do a bit of the thing that I like, which could be, for instance, crocheting. And we have another row. This yarn has really nice color changes. They look very beautiful in my opinion. I'm really curious how they're gonna look like once I start actually working with on the pattern. And we have about 12 centimeters, so I think I'm gonna do one more row and then I will just do the measures, because I also don't want to overcomplicate things and I don't want to make too many additional rows. By the way, I hope that the sound of this stream is better than the other one and there is less noise. Thank you for the feedback. I'm happy that you enjoy the music. And this is what we have so far. once I measure this, I will actually unravel the whole thing and reuse the yarn for the actual project because I'm really running low on it. So we have to be careful, and that's why I'm not cutting it off. But now it looks pretty good, so it's time to actually do the swatch. I'm gonna be using some pins. And I think I will try to use this as the board to pin this watch to. This is a board for a type of bracelets or braiding technique that is done in Japan. And this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna slightly stretch it a bit. Just look at the amount of different colors that this yarn has. It has like this really nice pinks and oranges and dark blues and a bit of greens, and here you can see some yellow. Oh, this is so beautiful. I'm really excited. And now maybe a bit more to the center. This should be good. And if we count, the 10 will be over here. Now, what is your favorite color? Oh, red. Big cherries. That sounds really nice. With amigurumi, I bet one can make really nice cherries. This is our swatch. This is how it looks approximately. And we can now calculate how much stitches and how much rows we get. So maybe we can start with the rows. I think that's gonna be a bit easier. And we're gonna have 1, 2. So this is 1, this is harder than I thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we have around 23 rows. Which is almost double what we have in the original pattern. And then we can count the stitches. Let's double check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have just 17 stitches. That's really interesting. I expected this to be honestly much more. But it's not as bad as I thought. And it's crazy to think that it's so many rows. This is really fun. Double check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's indeed 23 rows. And 17 stitches. This is our swatch. Gauche. I also want to estimate how much in weight I used on this to have a bit of an idea, and for that I'm gonna calculate the total amount. So we have 23 rows, and now we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, which means that I did total of 30 rows. And let's calculate how many stitches I made. And between this and this it's 17. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 31, which makes sense because that's how much I made, which is nice to see that it's matching. And I want to estimate how much yarn went on this. right. I'm gonna take some. Okay. Hi, welcome if you just joined. I'm working on a crocheting head warmer for winter, and I'm in the process of making a gauge swatch to estimate how much stitches and rows I get with my yarn compared to the yarn that is specified in the pattern, because the yarn that is specified in the pattern is thicker. And I just made my gauge swatch, which is 23 rows and 17 stitches for a 10 by 10 piece. This is how it looks like. And now I just was curious if I could somehow measure how much yarn I got used. And you can see that the total is 32 grams, which is very few in my opinion. And then this is 13 grams. Now let's see. I'm not sure if that works because they are connected, but technically it should. At least it matches. So I used up actually 13 grams, which is almost half just to make this piece. That's quite a lot of yarn for such a small piece. So I'm really worried if I'm gonna have enough of the yarn to make the full head warmer. And now I'm gonna actually use my consulter, which is actually just ChatGPT, that I'm talking to see whether I can, how to adjust the pattern. This is our values. I used 17 stitches and made 23 rows. My ball of yarn is 32 grams and the swatch of 30 rows of 31 single crochet in each plus a chain used 13 grams. How should I adjust the pattern, and will I add enough yarn? as you can see in the original pattern, I was supposed to have about 7.6 centimeters, so it's supposed to be like this wide, which I think is a very nice width for a hard headband. And it says that it should be about 48.3 centimeters, which I'm not fully sure actually if that's correct. So this is the pattern I would like to follow. This is how it looks like. And tells me that it should be around 21 to 23 inches. So it should be a bit bigger than what it said here. So now I have to adjust. And this is what we have. We know that in the original yarn, a 10 centimeter, 10 by 10 centimeter gauge will have 12 stitches and 12 rows. And for this size, which is a bit bigger but is supposed to sit better, so it's about 21 to 23 inches, which is inches in centimeters, which is around 53 centimeters. We are supposed to get the chain 58. Like this, which would result so this is in multiples of 6. If we do 58 with this gauge, 58 divided by 12 will be 4 point and 12, which is something like this. But we don't have 12, we have 17. So 50 divided by 12 is 4.8. Then we multiply this by 17, which gives us an 82 and 82.1.2. So we should choose something around 82. Now 82 is obviously not divided by 6. So whatever is the closest multiple, it is also not divided by 6, which is weird. So this is gonna be 54 plus 4, and yep. So basically we have to have it in multiples of plus 4. That will probably account for the first stitch in the next row. Which means that with 82 minus 4, 82 minus 4 is 78, which might be just exactly what we need, which is 13. So if we make it in 82, we would have a bigger, tighter piece, but we should still have a nice one. So this makes total sense. Then we're gonna have a very scary moment right now, because we'll have to unravel all of this, all the work. That's a weird thing about crocheting, or about making ghost watches. You did some work and now you just undo it. So let's do this. This is kind of satisfying to do, but I really hope I'm not gonna have to do this too often. Back on. Fun fact, for knitting, it's important that the yarn doesn't keep the memory of all stitches that were done using it. So once you unravel some yarn that you used for some swatch or some other project, it's important to de-stress it completely before starting something new. However, this is not the case when you are doing crochet because of the way crochet works. So I don't have to spend time on like de-stressing the yarn and waiting for it to dry and so on, and I can just start crocheting the headband straight away. But I think that this is where we're actually gonna stop for today. We did a crochet swatch and we now know how to continue on. I will start working on this card and I will make sure to bring you along with me on this journey. And I also hope you liked today's stream, and I hope you're gonna have a rest of evening nice and cozy and chill. And thank you very much for joining me. So thank you and see you next time. Bye.